Hey there, Leslie Sansone Williams here. I wanted to talk with you today about the cover of my Kindle book, Legal Break-In. I picked that for a specific reason. And it shows a woman, and it could be a man too, right? That they're walking through the door. And that to me is significant. And it says a lot with just the picture. Without the words legal break-in, how to get that legal secretary, legal assistant, or paralegal job. Without those words on the book, you know that that person is walking into opportunity of some sort. And there's a light behind the door, you know. So the door is there right now for you. But what are you doing? Are you standing outside of it just staring at that door as if you will never be allowed to go through it? It's not going to happen. Or are you working towards that day when you will walk through it? Whatever the career is that you're looking at, whether it's paralegal or anything else, there's a lot of hard work that needs to be done and a lot of information that you need to process in your mind in order to break into this field, to grasp hold of it. But does that mean that you have to know everything before you start? No, you don't. You don't. So much of it is flying by the seat of your pants. And doing that well, by the way, you know. And we all know that jumping out of a plane requires a parachute. And that's packing it well, packing your own parachute. And that's just known in skydiving, that the trust has to be there. Well, you've got to give yourself the right information in order to break in this field. And you have to go at it full force. How hard you go at it and your belief system is everything. As I've said before, I didn't have a lot of support. There was no support for me entering this field. It was almost, to some people, like a ludicrous idea. I had to learn to stop listening to that type of nonsense and listen to my other video about critics. They can, if we listen to them, then we will be staring at that closed door forever. And I don't think you want that. I certainly didn't. You know, I broke in spite of not knowing how to operate a PC. I had a Mac at home. And the Macintosh computer, was so far ahead of PCs with pull-down menus and the mouse and all of that. The PCs weren't that at all. And the people who were using the Macs were engineers and artists and architects and that type of thing. Those type of career people. But not people in law firms. They were all using PCs. So I felt like trying to learn WordPerfect, which Word didn't even exist at the time, but trying to learn WordPerfect was almost an insurmountable mountain to climb for me. And that was the closed door, one of the closed doors for me. But I was able to break in with just my Mac knowledge, and then I learned on the fly. And I found out it wasn't as difficult as I thought. And I had made the mountain much bigger. So let's go over some of these as I look at my notes here, because I had some points I wanted to cover with you. That in order to open that door, the whining and carrying on, the feeling sorry for oneself, if that's going on, and we're all guilty of that sometimes, you know, but sometimes that can be the modus operandi, that could be the MO, your MO, and that can't fly to get in this career. There's no hand-holding. Even when you take my class, there will be a lot of stuff that you will watch. You will watch videos. You will look at downloads. You will read two different things, especially one book that I have in the class called Cover Letter Secrets. You have to dedicate yourself to absorbing all of this and putting it into practice, not just knowledge in the head, but putting it into practice and learning how to research on Google. And there's no hand-holding in my course. There's downloading from my head to yours in everything that's in that course of 27 years. So you will absorb so much, but how you put that into practice and how you believe that you can succeed is up to you. Nobody can give it to you. Nobody can just hand it to you. And it's not easy. It's not a cakewalk. So any type of whining and that unbelief, you're going to have to toss out the window. That's tough love coming from me. And looking at that closed door, what I want you to do is I want you, as you start moving forward into this career, I want you to see the door opening, and I want you to see the light starting to just shine through there, even ever so slightly. That I want you to track everything you're learning. Write it down. What did you accomplish? Right? Am I saying keep a journal? No. If you want to, go for it. But am I saying do that? No. I'm saying track what you've learned. Pat yourself on the back. Job well done. So don't stare at the closed door. I want you to visualize that it's opening and that light is starting to come through. I always talked about the light at the end of the tunnel, but I like the door aspect as well. So don't look at closure, at that door being shut. The courage you will need, you're going to dig deep to get. I can't give you the courage. I can give you information, and I can uplift you, and I can virtually pat you on the back. And if we had a meetup sometime down the road, well, then I could really pat you on the back and give you a hug. But you've got to visualize that, the patting on the back, and digging deep to find the courage when fear starts to overtake you. The negative thinking, stinking thinking, the battlefield of the mind, constantly thinking negative thoughts, visualize throwing them off. Give it to God. Give Him your negative thoughts. He can handle it. And start thinking thoughts of what you're thankful for. Get rid of the negative thoughts. Trauma can do this to us. I've been through trauma in my life with the loss of a beloved adult child at age 21. I know the trauma of grief. I know how it can be to try to work and maintain a job in the middle of all that trauma. So understand, I know that. And I understand negative thoughts. I understand depression and depressing thoughts. So throw those, it's a visualization and giving it to God. Get rid of it. I know it'll get you down sometimes, but you've got to constantly refuse and battle it. It's a war of the mind. Your thoughts will not direct you in a negative way. No, refuse. And number 5, I will choose to believe that all things work together for good. Remember what I said? I sent out so many resumes and cover letters and not one bite. Then I had to think about what could I change, and that's where my course came out of. That's why I focused initially on the cover letter. That was instrumental in getting me noticed, but I had to learn what got me noticed. What is it that changed their minds and they called me? What is that? I don't guarantee that, but it worked for me. The cover letter I'm teaching you how to do has got to be hands down much better than what you might have sent out before. And you have more knowledge through the course that I'll be teaching about how to formulate it. So you may not get the first jobs that you apply to, but there might be some things you have to learn about what they are seeing when you send your resume and cover letter out. What is it that they're seeing? You have to look at it with an objective eye and know that sometimes God shuts that down, and He will not let you go into a job that is just not right for you. So that's where trust comes in. So should we continue to stare at the closed door, or should we do things that get us up and moving? And once we do that, the door starts to crack open, and life seems to change a little bit, and those positive vibes, those, oh, I feel happy for once. I don't feel like this is, downer Monday or downer Wednesday. I feel like uplifted for a change, like there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel. So there are things you have to do, though. You have to take ownership of. No one can do this for you. And it can feel like beating the head against the wall sometimes. It does. It did for me. And I'm no different than you. It's just that I'm older than you right now. So I've been down that road. And it's hindsight now for me. And that's 2020. So I share that with you in these videos. What is it that you need to let go of so you can move forward? Give it to God. And what's going to happen to you if you open yourself up to something new? Yeah, it can be scary. It can. It's like jumping off a cliff sometimes. But it's jumping off a cliff with a parachute. It's not like jumping into the Grand Canyon off a cliff without a parachute. And so you can handle this. Go for it. Don't procrastinate. Start hitting it like there's no tomorrow. And go for it and watch the door start to crack. Watch the light start to beam down that dark tunnel, and you're on your way. So I hope this helped you. Today, I've stared at the door. I've stared at the door even building the course for everybody, because it's a new avenue for me. And that's always the case with us humans. Sometimes we attack things, and sometimes we just stare at the closed door as if somebody's going to come from the other side and go, hey, come on in. Sometimes we have to break it down too. But that comes with hard work and effort. So let me know what you think about this video. I love hearing your comments. I adore when you comment and tell me what you think. It really is helpful to me, and I appreciate you being here very much, more than you will probably ever know. It's just a blessing to have you here. So keep on keeping on, and like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos, and I will talk to you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.